What it do, podcast. It's John Locke, back at it today. I have a very special guest, Baron Montesquieu. Everybody give it up.
Hi, guys. Hello.
So great to have you on the show.
Thank
This is
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
True pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, so let's just go ahead and hop right in it. First question. What is the role of religion in society?
Well, personally, I feel that it's wrong to put religion into government, but I think all religions should be tolerant to other religions, and the government should enforce this tolerance with appropriate laws.
You know, those are some very interesting ideas, but I sort of believe that religion in society, it really shouldn't have a place because, you know, even if they could enforce a single true religion, I don't really think that it would have the desired effect because belief cannot be compelled by violence.
That's an interesting
And also,
philosophy.
coercing religious uniformity leads to more social disorder than unification.
Allowing diversity. I get it.
All right, now on to our second question. What is the appropriate role of the government?
Well, I think the best form of government is one where there's a legislative, executive, and judicial branches. So they're all separate, but they're also equal, and they keep each other in check from preventing each branch from becoming too powerful.
See, that's very interesting. You know, I sort of believe that the appropriate role of government is to, enforce the life, health, and the liberty of possessions. And, a lot of scholars sort of believe of the people. A lot of scholars sort of believe that the term from the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness comes from me. But,
I remember. Yeah, I think that's you.
Absolutely. Now, hopping right into our third question.
All right.
What are the role and rights of a monarch / a ruler?
Well, I believe that a monarch or ruler, I just don't think it should be one person. I think it should be an entire government, and that by having like a monarchy, like our French king, like Louis the 16th, I hate that guy.
That guy sucks.
I know.
I hate that dude.
He's gonna lead to despotism, and everybody's gonna hate him, basically.
For real.
So that's what I think.
Yeah, I think really the only problem with a monarch is, there comes this unlimited accumulation of currency, which kind of leads to selfishness. And I just sort of think that government would function to moderate the conflict between unlimited accumulations of property.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, hopping right into the next question. What are your opinions about economics?
Ooh, don't get me started on economics.
Don't even get you started. Let's go.
Well, I think commerce improves manners and cures the most destructive prejudices. So what I mean by that is when people look at each other through the eyes of economics, I feel like we're all equal, and it improves morals when we do money with each other. You know?
Do money, yeah. I like
do
that.
Money.
I sort of believe in individual liberty, if you get what I'm talking about. I think it's super important that the individual should control their own labor, because ultimately your labor controls your destiny.
That's true.
What you want to do. If this leads a person to owning a product of their work, the ownership of private property leads to people owning assets that would generate wealth independent of a government or a lord. I think it should really be free market, up to the people.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So let's hop just right into our next question. This was a little controversial. What are your opinions on slavery?
I'm kind of torn on this subject, actually. So I think that the state of slavery in its own nature is bad, but I do think there's two types of country in which slavery, while not acceptable, is less bad than some slaveries. Some slavery is good than other, basically.
That's fair. Well, one of my major philosophies would be the fact that I feel like some people are just sort of born with more inherent rights than other people. So I myself actually participate in the slave trade.
Oh, really?
Okay. That's All right, let's just go ahead and hop right into our next question.
Okay.
What laws should govern society, and who should create or decide those laws?
Well, kind of like I said before, I think the three branches of government should create and decide those laws, particularly the legislative branch, like the parliament. They should make the laws. And what laws should govern society, you ask? I think the laws should protect the people and limit the ruler from becoming too powerful, actually.
You know, that's really interesting. I've always sort of defended the principle of majority rule and, the separation of powers between the legislative and executive powers.
That's all me.
That's all you.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think that there should be any coercion between the church and them having any coercive power over their members.
Yeah, so laws should not be...
Yeah, I feel like it should be absolutely separated from religion.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's just hop right into our next question. What is the structure of ideas of a healthy society?
Well, I believe, like, a healthy society, the government has administrative powers that divide into the executive, judicial, and legislative branches. I think no power should become stronger than another. Basically, a healthy society, there's respect between the rulers and there's respect between the governed.
Absolutely, absolutely. I will always say, I'm very passionate about this, that men are by nature free and equal against the claims of God that have made all people naturally subject to a monarch.
But you do believe in the slave trade.
I do believe that, but I also believe that people are by nature subject to a monarch, and that people have rights such as the right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
Yep. All
right, just right into our next question. What is a quote that you live by?
Well, I said this one quote in my book, Spirit of Laws. There is no greater tyranny than that which is perpetrated by the shield of the law and in the name of justice. Useless laws weaken the necessary laws.
Breathtaking.
Like that?
I am speechless.
Thank you.
Well, my quote, although as selfish as it sounds, is also from one of my works, and it's, "To love truth for truth's sake is the principal part of human perfection in this world, and the seed plot of all other virtues."
Ooh, okay.
That was in my letter to Anthony Collins back in October of 1703.
Oh, I remember those days.
I remember those days. Anyways, let's just go ahead and hop right in it. Should we have capital punishment? Well, how do you feel about the death penalty?
Ooh, the death penalty. I think that violent but irregular punishments are not helpful to society, and I think that we should have more like rehabilitative punishments that can get the criminals like back on their feet, And so the death penalty, I don't know about that. I think we should move away from corporal punishment and seek like a different penal system that would make punishment more useful,
Interesting. I'm afraid that I have to disagree with you in that I am a thorough believer and supporter of the death penalty.
Oh, okay.
I believe that the government has the inherent right to create laws with the death penalty.
Well, I mean, that's your opinion.
We all got our opinions. On to our next question. Do people have the right to rebel against a government?
Ooh, okay. I think that, so basically my main thing is division of government, right?
Absolutely.
Separation of powers. So I think it's not really necessary for the people to do that because if we separate the powers, the government will keep itself in check. So I don't think the people really need to do that. However, I do believe like if it does get out of hand, then sure, they can revolt if they need to. But I don't think it's going to come to that point.
I agree with you. And actually, there have been an all right amount of revolutions, sparked from my philosophies. But
I bet.
I really believe that a revolution against the government who acted against the interests of the citizens should be allowed to revolt against their government.
Okay.
All right, question 11. Is fighting a war and causing death in the name of one's religion a moral cause?
Well, I don't think I think that religion really is only good, and they only produce good in civil society, so I don't really see many wars coming from that. And so if it does, then it's not good.
Absolutely. I feel very religiously tolerant, and when it comes to the oppression of one's religion, I absolutely feel that it is necessary for you to fight.
Okay.
All right, hopping right into our next question. What is the right position for women?
I believe that the women were supposed to be the head of the homes, in my book, it is against reason and against the nature for women to be mistresses in the house, but not for them to govern an empire. So they shouldn't govern an empire, but they should be an important role in their own home.
Absolutely, just like, I am an advocate of all people, but, I believe that all people are created equal, but men are a little more equal than others, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. All right.
All right, relationship between the individual and the governed. What are your thoughts on that?
I think the governed should be respectful to the government because they will have their best interest at hand. Trust me. That's the best form of government. Separate powers, and I believe that that's going to happen. We're not going to have any despotism with my form of government.
Absolutely. I thoroughly believe that God has made all people naturally subject to a monarch, and that the monarch is there to help you. You shouldn't there shouldn't be a reason to not trust them or anything like that.
Yeah.
All right. Is government good, and is it necessarily evil, and is it even necessary?
Oh, I believe that government is good, was good, will be good, and when done properly, will have the interests of the citizens at hand and not for their own interests. That's just it. That's all I got.
Men are naturally free and equal, just right out of the gate, out of birth. I really do not think, or I thoroughly believe that government is good and that it is absolutely necessary for society to flourish. Okay, so what is the appropriate punishment for criminals, if not the death penalty?
Well, like I said before, I think a penal system that would make punishment more useful, edifying the prisoner, while simultaneously repairing the damage the prisoner had inflicted upon society.
That's very interesting. Although I am an advocate for the death penalty, I do not always think that it's necessary.
Good.
I really only feel the death penalty is necessary when somebody breaks a law of nature, It shouldn't really be in proportion and extreme anger.
Yeah.
All right. Right into our next question. What rights, if any, should people have?
I think that all human beings have certain rights of being the state of nature. Man was at peace. So naturally, men are peaceful, and they don't just naturally go to violence and war. So I think the rights that people have is to just remain peaceful. Okay?
Interesting. I'll always believe that people were born with certain inalienable natural rights and that they're God-given, can never be taken away from them.
I agree with you.
3 examples would have to be life, liberty, and property. Those would have to be.
Amen.
Amen, brother. So how would you define human nature? Are we good, bad, rational, irrational?
I think that we're peaceful. We're peaceful creatures. We're good people. It's only when we become so fearful that we have to become violent and start wars. We fear each other.
Absolutely. Human nature, as amazing of a thing as it is, it really does allow people to be selfish within themselves, and especially with currency. And I just, that really just goes against my morals of life, health, liberty, private possessions, things like that.
So we disagree.
So I'm afraid we'll have to disagree on that one.
Okay.
What are your religious views?
Well, I think that there was a God to start out, but he didn't play a part anymore. So not a Christian God, but I do believe there was a God.
I began in Calvinist Trinitarianism, but upon my reflections in 1695, I just switched up to Socian views, Socian Christology, all about that.
Yeah.
So should religion influence laws?
No, I think all religions should be equal and tolerant of other religions, and the government should enforce this tolerance with appropriate laws.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Nothing I would change about that.
Okay, cool.
So who can govern a society? And can anybody do it?
Yeah, so 3 branches of government, like I said before. These questions are kind of getting repetitive, but, three branches, they have the best interests. Well, that's it.
I completely agree with you.
Thanks for having me today.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great having you.
No